He stood for what is right and did not care whether he was alone on defending what was right, and that is what he stood for. And for our political leaders who are here, what do we stand for? Are we selfless and are we honest in what we do? And then he was not also afraid to ask difficult questions and make very hard decisions, sometimes that would almost cost him his life. But because he knew what he stood for, he was never afraid. And then lastly, he had a very strong commitment to education. You can see that he himself had a very rich background in terms of his education and training, and that should be something also we should reflect about as we prepare to ask questions and make comments on our presentations. Thank you.
And the narrative of the achievements of God Wilson Toko, and indeed of his contemporaries, is not just to show how high they were, it is to show that they did it, this generation can do it, and the future generation will also be able to do it. And therefore, on that note, as you consult your mind on what question to ask, now that the summary of the issues have been presented, let me ask for a short musical interlude.
My name is Obiga. I'm the chairperson of the Democratic Party, Rural District. I'm not going to ask a question, but I'm going to make a comment that the gap the lead has left in the aviation industry is a challenge to the falling education standards in
Ama obe ba magitezura aleke amasaro meto iko ndabana bima government ezulu sinema guo bandre mwa ma pabara lediki ikilo nganzi alinganzi tuki moto kazimuke mu sulu ese ituka amape mono asisanga mandre ngani ali yasu yo tisana saro afafebi sawa isi ba magite ba ini resurere agoni afafebi bani tozo manti utisu to aroko amani uzisu awo amani manja fata amani le awo amani maso ani kan next location ya afasika amani ne inkaso kanabu yugana magite print bani yoba mari beti amani kwa be ara ni abisu yo amamu amawo ayiri agoni ampo mama se abisi basi ati to mari yo razera iyo ne masizalika angwai aka mi twinka kini tata amana matasu ni malia bati amani twinka itoki amanti kan kwanzi yo to bari ke bari masiki yayo te America ikisa zingwa ikina aliye aka imanti be yo amani si iki aliye iyo te bra amani ka moturwa amati ani tuaro amati oni singa wesina de zozura matebele ole ba nekingwa.
It is only unfortunate that it was very abrupt, and because of other duties, otherwise there are very many but committed. So we managed just to bring a few to represent others. Without wasting a lot of time, I will start with the Major George Buga. Is a squadron commander of Mi-24. And the Mi-24 is an attack helicopter. It is a fighter helicopter. So he's in command of that squadron. Then we have Major John Zobu Amban. He's a squadron commander, Suparo Squadron, which is a Cessna 172. Also, we have Major Norbert Obiga. He's the chief instructor of Iwafa Nakasongola. That's the Uganda Academy, Uganda Air Force Academy in Nakasongola. Then we have Major Dixon Afidra. He's the head of avionics of a terrible supersonic jet fighter. We also have Captain John Anguzu Opigo. He's a squadron engineer Sungura. That one you may not understand it, but it is a kind of Big 21 and L39. So is the one. We have Lieutenant Sadiq Aroma. He's a pilot of helicopter 24 and 17. So that's the one. Lastly, we have Lieutenant Robert Mugenyi Edamach. Is the Principal Air Traffic Management Officer at Entebbe International Airport. So those are the members we have come with, but we still have many of the young people. So this is for the youth. When there is an opportunity, please use it and come and join us. Some of us now are aging and giving this chance to you. But what is important, much as you are learned, Air Force needs disciplined people. All these people you see are disciplined. And that's why I will give them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Colonel Patrick Mtende. And the purpose of that introduction for pilots, and two, to inspire the young ones to aspire either to emulate them or chart a clear professional course. Now to the panelists.
Thank you very much. Now we are going to give an opportunity for our panelists to welcome to respond to some of the issues that have been raised. But first, just a reminder, the first question that we had, which is not actually a question but a comment, and I'm happy that with the introductions that has been answered and cleared. And then our youth made very important, notes on what they had learned and the inspiration. But there is one question from the gentleman that represented the voice of the youth, and also the last speaker, about unity in terms of our political leadership and unity as a people. And there's nobody better placed to answer this than Nyai, who is a retired politician and one that diligently served us, who in this capacity in the next 2 or 3 minutes should help us advise on how best we can correct the situation and what are the best ways of fostering this unity that was once enjoyed by those that went before us. Thank you.
And Professor Tikoti will provide supplementary information.
Hello. This is Nyai. I've been caught off guard, but not on foot. The most important thing in life is that you should learn some South African philosophy of Ubuntu, that I am because you are. Can we say that again? I am because you are. Because if you are not, I am not. We understand each other. Now this idea, I'm going to power, I want to do everything alone. There are some people who want to climb, and then they want the people below them to be down there. This is negative. It is easier. The Chinese ever say that if you want to go fast, walk alone. But if you want to go far, go together. So if we learn to unite and go together, we will go far. Now, there are people who have helped me who are not from my tribe or my clan or my nation. If you took me to Arusha, Tanzania, and dropped me today, I'll be received as a hero. Because when I was going to the East African community, my father told me, you are going away, you are going to have no relatives there, you have no uncle, no cousin, no brothers, but you have your tongue. Your tongue can make you friends and relatives, or it can kill you. Can I repeat that one? Your tongue can make you friends and relatives, or it can kill you. Now, individual interest against national interest is a dangerous way to go. If you see that there's something better which can be done collectively, let us go for it. Together we win. I thank you. Thank you very much. First, I want to thank all the commentators, starting with my friend Fadila America, who is always very fiery as usual. And I think I want to respond to the question of the youth. First, I agree with much of what you say. You gave me a challenge that we should try to document the history of West Nile. I think part of that is being done. And secondly, we will certainly take up the challenge. In fact, the book which Brigadier Toko wanted to write about the peace talks, I have a friend who was secretary of the peace talks. He has got most of the material. I think it's not sitting down with him and we see how we can transform it into a book. I think it's quite important for the history of Uganda to know what happened during the peace talks and why the agreement was never implemented. Because if we don't learn from our history, we make the same mistakes. I see some of them being done now. Some of them you see today have happened before. So we must learn the lessons of history. It's very critical. If we forget our history, we are finished. And especially young people. Don't think that what is happening has not happened before. A lot of these things have happened before. But on the issue of the unity of the people of West Nile, I'm a board member of something called Nyai. Our primary objective is to develop West Nile as a region. We have got our blueprint. We've tried to meet our MPs. It has not succeeded. We have called meetings with the LC5 chairman. Normally out of 10 or 9, 3 or 4 will come. So I don't know what the problem is, but I think it's lack of commitment. Lack of commitment to the cause of West Nile. And even particularly Nikon, for example, Boro, you are really challenging all of us. You see, I need to I need to go so it's important that we should go back. It was very, very unfortunate. When we celebrating the 17th of West Nile, this was one of the themes to rebuild the unity of the people of West Nile. Okay? So that is a challenge for politicians. Please set the example. People have sent you there to go and work for West Nile. You don't even meet among yourselves. The other was we wanted about Atiku, I think it's your chairman. He says he's never been able to convene a meeting since over a year now. It's a big shame. It is a disgrace. Thank you.
First of all, I want to also send my gratitude to the former speaker, watched this space, and that was excellent. Right to this, a lot has been talked about Brigadier. He has passed. And now I think why I have come up is because of the issue of bridging the gap. Allow me to draw your mood to some of the prominent persons who have died in Uganda, specifically West Nile, because of accidents. We had the Bishop, Mawanguma, we had the late Francis Ayume, and also we also had the Brigadier, who all perished in accidents. There are a lot of issues talked in the Parliament. I'm glad that we already have parliamentarians within. We take time to talk about issues that pertain to individuals and very few people. There is one thing that has happened. I have a permit in driving. When you're finishing, they say, as soon as you have caused an accident, don't stop, rush and go away. And as soon as you get someone who has got an accident to a government hospital, you are told to take this person to the police. And in the police, there are a lot of things that do happen. They take their own time. The time such a person arrives, the hospital, it is on the corpses. When we talk of accidents, this is broad. But one thing that I want our parliamentarians to begin looking at seriously is the issue of accidents on Ugandan roads. That is going to consume us and also the younger generation. Many of us may not be even getting to the planes. That is a very serious issue. Such issues, in a simple way, if are presented in the Parliament, and some of those ways, instead of taking a patient outside, you simply take them to the hospital, that would be good. Given the conditions of our hospitals that are pathetic, where there is no blood, where Ugandans are still dying because of no blood in the hospitals, is unacceptable to the generation of today. For the fact that we already have this memorial lecture, I have one way forward. Uganda is a fast-growing nation that is going to become a university state. In West Nile region, we have got universities, branches that offer degree. They don't offer master programs, apart from one. There are no PhD programs totally within this region. And we have heard from people within the panels who have boasted of great education. That from that time was easy. My way forward is, for the organizers, it will be a very good thing. I will suggest that let there be a Brigadier Guard Wilson Fund that should look at education at certain level. Because Museveni has done it at P1 up to S6 level with the standards that it has. But if we have a standard where we have got a fund that offers scholarship, because we know that there are few people from West Nile region who get the national or state scholarship, we will be proud of our own scholarship. That will be the Brigadier Guard Wilson Toko scholarship. Thank you very much. I beg to move.
Ambassadors around, Honorable MPs, Afande General Masava, all people in various categories, Uganda Air Force. It is only unfortunate that it was very abrupt, and because of other duties, otherwise there are very many, but committed. So we managed just to bring a few to represent others. Without wasting a lot of time, I will start with the Major George Buga. Is a squadron commander of Mi-24. And the Mi-24 is an attack helicopter. It is a fighter helicopter. So he is in command of that squadron. Then we have Major John Zobu Amban. He's a squadron commander, Suparo Squadron, which is a Cessna 172. Also, we have Major Norbert Obiga. He's the chief instructor of Iwafa Nakasongola. That's the Uganda Academy, Uganda Air Force Academy. in Nakasongola. Then we have Major Dixon Afidra. Is the head of avionics of a terrible supersonic jet fighter. We also have Captain John Anguzu Opibo. Is the squadron engineer Songura. That one you may not understand it, but it is a kind of Big 21 and Aero 39. So is the one. We have Lieutenant Sadiq Aroma. Is a pilot of helicopter 24 and 17. So that's the one. Lastly, we have Lieutenant Robert Mugenyi, Gama. Is the Principal Air Traffic Management Officer at Entebbe International Airport. So those are the members we have come with, but we still have many of the young people. So this is for the youth. When there is an opportunity, please use it and come and join us. Some of us now are aging and giving this chance to you. But what is important, much as you are learned, Air Force needs disciplined people. All these people you see are disciplined. And that's why I am moving them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Colonel Patrick Mtende. And the purpose of that introduction for pilots, and two, to inspire the young ones to aspire either to military or chart a career professional course now to the panelists.
Thank you very much. Now we are going to give an opportunity for our panelists to welcome to respond to some of the issues that have been raised. But first, just a reminder, the first question that we had is not actually a question but a comment, and I'm happy that with the introductions that has been answered and cleared. And then our youth made very important, notes on what they had learned and the inspiration. But there is one question from the gentleman that represented the voice of the youth, and also the last speaker, about unity in terms of our political leadership and unity as a people. And there's nobody better placed to answer this than Nyai, who is a retired politician and one that diligently served us, who in this capacity in the next 2 or 3 minutes should help us advise on how best we can correct the situation and what are the best ways of fostering this unity that was once enjoyed by those that went before us. Thank you.
And Professor Toko will provide supplementary information.
Hello. This is Nyai. I've been caught off guard, but not on foot. The most important thing in life is that you should learn South African philosophy of Ubuntu, that I am because you are. Can we say that again? I am because you are. Because if you are not, I am not. We understand each other. Now this idea, I'm going to power, I want to do everything alone. There are some people who want to climb and then they want the people below them to be down there. This is negative. It is easier. The Chinese ever say that if you want to go fast, walk alone. But if you want to go far, go together. So if we learn to unite and go together, we will go far. Now, there are people who have helped me who are not from my tribe or my clan or my nation. If you took me to Arusha, Tanzania, and dropped me today, I'll be received as a hero. Because when I was going to the East African community, my father told me, you are going away, you are going to have no relatives there, you have no uncle, you have no cousin, no brothers, but you have your tongue. Your tongue can make you friends and relatives, or it can kill you. Can I repeat that one? Your tongue can make you friends and relatives, or it can kill you. Now, individual interest against national interest is a dangerous way to go. If you see that there's something better which can be done collectively, let us go for it. Together we win. I thank you.
Thank you very much. First, I want to thank all the commentators, starting with my friend Badila America, who's always very fiery as usual. And I think I want to respond to the question of youth. First, I agree with much of what you say. And then a challenge that we should try to document the history of Western. I think partly that is being done. And secondly, we will certainly take up the challenge. In fact, the book which together Toko wanted to write about the peace talks, I have a friend who was secretary of the peace talks. He has got most of the material. I think it's not just sitting down with him and we see how we can transform it into a book. I think it's important for the history of Uganda to know what happened during the peace talks and why the agreement was never implemented. Because if we don't learn from our history, we make the same mistakes. I see some of them being done now. Some of them you see today have happened before. So we must learn the lessons of history. It's very critical. If we forget our history, we are finished. And especially young people. Don't think that what is happening has not happened before. A lot of these things have happened before. But on the issue of the unity of the people of West Nile, I'm a board member of something called Mayang. Our primary objective is to develop West Nile as a region. We have got our blueprint. We've tried to meet our MPs. It has not succeeded. We have called meetings with the LC5 chairman. Normally out of 10 or 9, 3 or 4 will come. So I don't know what the problem is, but I think it's lack of commitment. Lack of commitment to the cause of West Nile. And even partly a near economy. For example, in Zarwa, Boro, you are really challenging all of us. You see, I knew Kania came to Toko. I knew what they go, Papa, Gilly, Papa, Acemah, you see, although the men they don't have Papa, me something. So it's important that we should go back. It was very, very unfortunate when we celebrated the 10th of West Nile. This was one of the things to rebuild the unity of the people of West Nile. Okay? So that is a challenge for politicians. Please set the example. People have sent you there to go and work for West Nile. You don't even meet among yourselves. The other was we wanted about Atiku, I think your chairman. He says he's never been able to convene a meeting since over a year now. It's a big shame. It is a disgrace. Thank you.
Fellows have been responsible for organizing this. I had a hand in grooming them up, so I'm really pissed off. There was a statement here from a wonderful lady. I think she's the only one who knows that somebody who made a car in Uganda happens to come from West Nile. That lady, sir. Thank you very much. But let me come back to any issue that was raised, I think, by the chairman of DP regarding admissions to our university. There won't be enough time to explain it, but I'll try and see as much as I can to explain that. I actually wanted to say something about Brigadier Wilson Toko because I had my own encounters, and at some point I had been asked to deliver the keynote address, but I told the Masu people a better person is Harold, my senior by 1 year, Umbati and so forth. And that if I was to deliver, it is likely I was going to deliver something engineering because I knew Toko in the context of engineering. So I deferred that, and there's no time to talk about that now. But there were two things that we were doing at that time. And if I didn't want to deliver this keynote address, very likely the heading would have been the unaccomplished tasks. There were two of them. There's the formation of the airline, which Dr. Andi talked about. And I can reveal to you people that the Friday before that unfortunate incident, we agreed that we would have well finished getting ginger after the God. Unfortunately, that did not take place. So that is an unaccomplished task, which I think we must find a way of continuing to finish it. The second is the Northwestern College. Again, I think there are some draft documents which he must have left somewhere. The idea was that we would be training our young people in a slightly different manner from what is happening now. Where when you complete your education, you have the certificates, but skills are zero. That is what that Northwestern College was supposed to do. Instill skills. Now come to Mori. And I hope you people organize another occasion where you can sit there all day and talk about this. Now, many of you were involved in starting Moni University. It's a process that went on probably for over 10, 15 years. Eventually, when it landed, there seems to have been an assumption that because it is here, any one of our kids will be admitted to the university. Unfortunately, that is not how universities operate. Okay? Universities require equality. Earlier, Dick said in their times, and it's spilled over to my times, that they used to compete between each other. There was nothing like trying to remember what is in the UNEP database. It was about whether Dick, senior as he is, I could beat him. And in that process, there were certain skills that you needed extra in order to beat him. That has disappeared. And that's why even up now, we have so many universities and we are graduating so many of these. I can assure you, when you take them to the world, test them for skills. The skills are not there. So which is the way forward? The DP chairman. Yeah? The way forward is one. We have to review this curriculum, this education system that we have. Okay? The P2 kids, when they go to the class, don't bother too much about making this kid remember what you told him yesterday. Can you engage this kid with the hands, with the kid's hands? This, what are these banana leaves? We used to tie those things. The bicycles that we used to make, and so forth. Can we engage the kids through that way and then introduce them and then move forwards? Now, Muni specifically. Yes, we opened the university, and I think one of the members of council here. You see? Yeah, there he is. I know he has a lot of problems. People must have been attacking him. Why aren't you admitting our children? Right? He may be a bit more decent than me. and about a bit more shy. But there are people's issues. Why aren't we taking us? He said there were 2. And I was worried about that as well. This last admission. That whole list, you're only about 2. But why? Why? Because Mvara Senior Second School that used to produce top doctors for this country. There is nobody coming out of Mvara Senior Second School to qualify to go to Moni. On Bachi, there's hardly anybody. So where is the problem? I think the problem must go back to the roots. The president came here, I think 2015, when I was still holding that portfolio. I went to Senior Second School just before he arrived. There are computers in that school, I think 40 of them. I walked in there, they were all switched off. This was 3 o'clock. Okay? There was only one person there. Outside under a tree, there were teachers gossiping. That is it. And I took them on. Say, look, in this contemporary world, these young kids you are teaching will probably know more about the things you're going to talk to them about than you, because those kids are accessing things through either the tablets, the phone, and all this. Now you are doing absolutely nothing. Your knowledge is what you had when you graduated from your TTC. Now these kids, so this is the problem. First, we need to transform our method of teaching. We need to review the curriculum. And we need to ask ourselves, when you teach somebody, what are you really trying to do? Are you trying to simply pump in knowledge which he can acquire himself if he's going to read? Or is it that you're trying to introduce skills that will enable this fellow to survive, to look after himself? So there's a big problem if we're going to increase the number of our students from this area going to Moni. Don't blame the council members. Don't blame this. The solution is so simple. Let's adjust the way we deliver our education to our young people, so that at the end of the day they come out with skills. And I can assure you, even if we admitted all these young people and they came with degrees, first class, after that they'll add to the number of the 400,000 unemployed youth we have in this country. So can we please have an occasion when we can have to come back and have a curriculum and how we can orient our young kids to appreciate education? Because at the moment, what I see is that they just want a paper to be put somewhere in office. Beyond that, there's nothing. I would have gone on and on, but I'm sorry, I need to respect my
And the purpose why I'm reading some of these things now before the guest of honor speaks is because he might have thoughts about them. The second one from Anguzo Dickens is that this event, this memorial lecture, be organized every 5 years. He has also proposed that Arua Municipal Council names one of the roads God Wilson Toko Street. From Aduma Justice. Aduma proposes an annual youth day where they can have conversations about these things and learn from the previous generation in order to bridge the intergenerational gap. There was a question from Erima Dixon Dickens of UCU, Arua campus, and he had questioned why there's such a glaring disparity between the commitment, conduct, and value systems of God Wilson Toko and his contemporaries and our current generation of leaders. I think that matter had already been addressed in the previous question regarding polarization among our elected leaders as was alleged. Yeah, so Mercy will run through those two and we will give further guidance.
I also have two questions here. One is about whether there is a possibility of reviving all the projects that the late God Wilson Toko left. For example, one that was cited during the panelist discussion about the computer school, the pilot school, and the aircraft business, among others. And this question was from Daniel. I think that will be a take-home for us and something for the organizers of today to reflect about, but also encourage leaders to think about. And then there was also another question, the person did not put their name, but this one was about whether taking a whole village to raise or educate a child manifested itself as true in the life of Brigadier Guard Wilson Toko, which we promised to respond to, that even as we read and as we listened to the conversations that happened, we realized that his success was not just about his parents. It had a couple of factors. The friends he kept, very many people, his teachers. If you read his book, you'll find very many people that made a contribution to his life. And that should also be a challenge for all of us, that we should not just focus on our own children. Like it has been alluded by earlier speakers, we have very many intelligent people, we have a lot of talent from here. So if you see talent or if you identify skills in a child, even if they are not necessarily.
Thank you very much. Our Minister of State for Internal Affairs, the RDC, other members, to mention something very, very important, which shows that late Brigadier was actually a statesman. First place, I want to introduce myself. I'm after retired Sun Commissioner of Prisons, and also former Regional Prisons Commander for Midwest and Northwestern. I feel it is very important. I will not go to talking about the other things, because why I call late Brigadier a statesman is purely because he doesn't hold any grudge with anybody. He is a statesman. And I was a witness when I was coming from the Commonwealth Conference of St. John Ambulance in London. On my flight back, I missed the flight at Nairobi, and I knew he was now Director General of East African Airways. So I had his telephone number, I rang him, I told him that I was stranded at the airport. So he came and picked me. He said I will spend the night with them at his residence. Madam, I'm very thankful to you. I'm sure you cannot remember me, but I spent the night at your residence. We had a bit of chat with him, and he told me why he was in Nairobi. He already explained here why he was not in Nairobi. The following day, he took me to the airport to connect me to Entebbe. Before I departed from him, he told me that he had seen strange planes landing at Nairobi airport, and he suspected those planes were enemy planes. And that was the time when the Israelis were planning to attack the Entebbe airport. So, secretly, he told me that he had informed our government accordingly as far as those strange planes were concerned. I took off for Entebbe. After landing, I think it was that very evening. That is when the Entebbe raid took place. We were at the Luzira for a function with some of the army officers. And I think if our government at that time took things seriously, they were prepared. That's why Israelis took us by surprise. But I commend our forces, the Air Force, the Marines, and others that rushed to Entebbe to rescue the situation. Otherwise, that night, the following day, if you saw the road from Kampala to Entebbe, it was really, I believe, he didn't go there in good faith. He would say, after all, I was sent away from Air Force. Why should I inform? So that is the thing which makes me to think that we, people of Uganda, should think in that manner.
Thank you very much.
And then the second issue.
This is strictly about celebrating the life and times of God Wilson Toko.
Yes, definitely is. In 1995, as Ambassador Acemah mentioned, I returned with Toko. It was his personal choice that I should accompany him. I want to say that Toko did not select Marachas to come with him. He looked around for competent people. I'm from Toko. Unfortunately, the two Marachas, the three of them, include Dr. Jane. But this was a West Nile, a Ugandan, somebody who felt for West Nile and for Uganda. Now, Madam Gelenga, you asked serious questions here. Why is what is happening? I want to say it is happening because people are now taking I am Marata, I am Telego, I am Aif, I am Koboko, Amalinga. People are taking that more seriously. And we have forgotten the real issues. A collapsed education system. We have forgotten the collapsed health system. We have forgotten those. A function like this, I hope, will help to remind us that we are all Lubara, we are West Nilers. That's more important than your small district. I see people so desperately chasing districts which are taking us nowhere. If districts were taking us somewhere, something should have happened in Marata, you excuse me, because this is the problem. We think more inside than outside. We are one. Together, Kampala will listen to us. Together, we could tell themselves that we want a cabinet minister. You can't now. The MPs can't sit together. They can't. You give them the vote to do what? If I were you, I would go and withdraw the vote from them. That is the reason, Madam Gelenga, being Marata, Terego, Aifu, Aringa, Marata is more meaningful to us than being people from the same. And people in Kampala think of us as either Northerners as West Nilers. Think of it that way. Being together will be power for you. Probably the next commander of the Air Force among those young men would come from West Nile because the brain is there. Before, I've been told Satan.
Right, the rapporteur who will raise some of the highlights before the minister comes to speak. Time is of essence, especially if you're doing piloting business, because the time is precision when you talk about. So please.
Thank you very much. Just before our rapporteur comes to give us a wrap-up, we had one last question or comment. That is there a possibility in future to bury our national leaders in Kololo Independence Ground so that the country can remember them and also it becomes a venue for us that will be treated as a tourist site. That is something for us to reflect about. So I'll quickly call our rapporteur. He's going to just give us a wrap-up of the discussions we've had, but also highlight key issues that we're going to carry forward from this very historic event and issues that we should and must follow up on. You're welcome, Tom.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, the dignitaries who are here, ladies and gentlemen. I'll just rise on a matter of thanking everybody for dearly taking off time to come here to share your views and also to learn from the experiences and the life of Brigadier Guards. One key thing which I would like to highlight that stands out is that people would like to have a foundation to continue the memories and the legacies of Brigadier Guard Toko. In the essence that this foundation
sets out to continue documenting and of course also sharing, platform, creating a platform where people come to share, especially on leadership, on education, and about.
I think it is fate that I should be here today to attend this function. Because as of yesterday, at this time, I was in a country called Azerbaijan. And Azerbaijan is about 18 hours from Entebbe. But I made an effort, and the permission of my supervisor. I'm very grateful to our chief speaker. He has pushed very well. A man of integrity, a man who was very honest, a man, surprisingly, one other thing which people have not said here is the humility of Brigadier. The humbleness. Brigadier was in a big office, but we could approach him. That should be said. If Brigadier was in a rural here, probably because of the name, you will be unable to reach him. But when you reach the man, you find a very warm, simple person like you. I think that is what Brigadier is. A man of integrity, a man who is not corrupt. So these are the things. And someone was asking, why are we not like that? You have answered yourself. Why are you corrupt? Why are you not honest? Why have you not struggled? Why have you not believed in yourself? People say Brigadier did not come from a big family. And I'm 100% sure, although the father was a reverend, they didn't have a lot of money. They did not have. But why was Brigadier able to be educated? Why was Brigadier able to have the confidence in himself and succeed where many failed? So let's believe in ourselves. Let us believe in brotherhood. Let's work hard. We can ask many questions to be given, but not everything can be given. Secondly, this is the question we should ask. What is the legacy Brigadier has left for us? There is so much. I can't summarize it all. And many have summarized it. But the biggest point, I think, for us here, which I would request all of us to follow, the legacy Brigadier has followed us is what you yourself have already said at the end of the day here. The issue of unity, the issue of loving each other. It starts with you. Don't ask anybody to unite when you yourself, you have not started from your home. You have not started from your clan. You have not started from your tribes. I hear many people, like somebody said before, talking. For me, I'm a Teregian. Whatever that Teregian means. Is a Teregian somebody who stays in Terego? Is a Teregian of a certain character? What is the quality, the color, and the behavior of a Teregian? Such that when I see one, I will say, that is a Teregian coming. I can't identify. I can't identify a Teregian by looking at him. I can't. So we must unite for a purpose. We must unite us in our brotherhood. All these other things we're saying, why are we disunited? It is simply because we have become individuals. These MPs whom you have sent and who are unable to cooperate, how can you reap mangoes from a thorn? If I am an MP, you elected me the other day and I'm someone who divides people. Do you think just by putting the title on me, MP, I will automatically unite people? These MPs you see, they come from you. You produce them, I produce them, we vote from them, and they will produce exactly what we have produced, what we have reaped. That's what the Bible says. I'm not a very good religious person. And I hope God will hear my voice one time when I'm about to die and I go to heaven. But the truth is, You reap what you sow. You live for a purpose. So I think the biggest legacy I want us to have, and I'm glad to say this, that the people of Maracha did not think of organizing this function in Maracha. They thought of organizing it in the regional headquarters of West Nile. Not everybody may not have been here. I'm sure the Marines are not here probably. The people of Navy are not here probably. But this is a beginning. And I think this is a good beginning, and we can learn from it. There are so many other qualities. These are the legacies. My summary is just going forward. Very smart gentlemen. In fact, some of us who are trying to be sometimes smart, we learn it from that gentleman. And some God created him like that. Those are the legacies we should copy. There was a man called Norbert Atiku, the second pilot to come from Maracha. And recently, this pilot, he comes from Maracha, but he grew up in Iterego. I don't want to say it will be accepted, but definitely there will be comments on it. And I'll come back with an answer for it. Although personally I don't see a lot of problems, but these are matters of state, and I don't want to make any commitments. But I see it's a very good proposal. Let's see how we can handle it. On the issue of scholarships, people not passing and so on, I think Professor Sunday Tigodi has answered it very well. Please, yes, we fought to have a university for West Nile. We wanted to get a university for West Nile, but we have only ended up having a university in West Nile. Why? He gave the answer. The quality to take people, to take, cannot be lowered for say, you people are in you people in Arua, you people are in West Nile, therefore we're going to take the lower class. It has to be the same. Brigadier's father was a poorer person. He had fewer means of getting money. They were able to educate him. What about us today who would have better many other sources of making money? Why can't we educate our children? Sometimes the problem is now in our family structure. Those of us who are old, and I don't say I'm too old, you see, I fear to be old, but I'm actually old. I fear, but I'm actually old. But the current structure of our families needs to be looked into. You go to a family, you find a father, he has a son of 16 years, the son has a wife of 15 years, they have a child of 2-3 years. That is the family. What do you expect in terms of education? So maybe as a population, these are things which we can't solve now, but these are things probably we have to do wider. But on the good note, His Excellency the President has given each constituency this academic year, each constituency in West Nile, he has given 2 scholarships to be competed for on science subjects. 2. And these LPs you see here, plus those who are not here, you're supposed to liaise with them to see, together with the district officials, how those 2 are going to be selected. And the President will educate them for the next years until they finish their science subjects, which are supposed to be 4 to 5 years. They're science subjects. So we should take that advantage, while at the same time working harder, because that cannot help us in the long run. Giving is good, but I think supporting when you're doing something for yourself is much better. There is somebody asked about the books, the student. Again, that's also good. We as MPs who can. But my rider to it is, how long are you going to continue every time to refer every matter to an MP? The long-run solution is not referring the issues. The long-run solution is to work hard, improve our income in whatever means, and forget about lamentation. Poverty is everywhere in Uganda. But if you keep just every morning waking up with the children and with the families all say, we're poor, we're poor, we're poor, yes, God will say, you are asking for it, I'll give it. Because God says, whatever you ask, He gives you. That's in the Bible. I'm not the one who wrote the Bible. It's there. So while you're saying you are poor, you must work hard. Then there is what my friend, the chief speaker, asked about traffic jam. Traffic accidents. He put it clearly, said government is not doing enough. But let me give you just an example, a simple one to finish quickly. When there were so many accidents on Kampala-Masaka-Mbarara Road, there were all sorts of theories. People say the roads were too smooth. Others say they were very slippery. Others say the tires of their vehicles, these were wrong tires which have been imported. They say the police were not doing their work. I agree sometimes. But when the police went and they put an operation called Operation Fika Salama, what they found out is that what was causing accidents on Masaka-Mbarara Road was the behavior of the drivers. Yes, there were other contributions, but this was a significant contribution. Motorcycles, the bodabodas knocking themselves, the bodabodas knocking them with the vehicles, and you can simply deduce the reason. The reasons are basically two. That's the area where you have the biggest congestion of traffic. There's a lot of infeed from Idiofe, there's another infeed from Hospital Road, and then there's the infeed from hospital itself. Then these good boys of ours, they don't want to ride with both buttocks on the motorcycle. It is bad manners and it is only fashion according to them. You must ride with 1/4 of your, half of your other buttocks. And the other leg must be there. Now, colleagues, let's go and try to change that behavior, and I'm sure. And the time will come, we shall arrest your motorcycles. Don't come to me and say, I'm serious, so and so. Don't go to the DPC, the RBC, and say, my motorcycle should be released. Don't. Because that is part of the reorganization. What you do, you train, you bring your person for training, you make sure it is done. There are many other issues which I could have, I think there's this one about, yes, accidents, I think that's the main one, I didn't want to talk the others. And then someone talked about the niceties of religions. That's an area in which I don't want to delve. But I just want to say, the religion which I know, which brought God Wilson Toko, the discipline officer, may have been totally different from some of the religious, I don't know what to call them, religions or sects, which were encouraged and we are meeting today. Religions which will talk to us about not going to hospital. Very much once again. I want to congratulate Resty and the family for having moved on in the 15 years and kept the legacy of this man, this great man who has given an inspiration to us all, and because of him, some people will be saved and some people will do better. Thank you, Resty, and your family.
So I would like to make it absolutely clear to the people of Uganda that you can't solve a problem in Karamoja and say in the Luero Triangle and leave fighting continues in West Nile. or you can't just have everybody in West Nile coming back and solve the problem in Karamoja and Mpigi district and Mukono district and hope that the triangle doesn't form part of Uganda. Therefore, I would like the general public to look at the council policy in that light, that we are welcoming citizens